Now, here is how someone may put together a systematic trading strategy. The first step, as I mentioned, is to find lots and lots of historical data. So for example, in this case, the building blocks are, we have created maybe over 100 different factors that we look at. We look at what shares are in which index and what's going on with them in terms of being included or excluded. What is institutional holding? What funds are being bought by FPIs, by mutual funds? Where are insiders, meaning the management, buying or selling? Sector and industry rotation, what sectors are doing well as a whole, not just an individual company. Then we look at sub-industry factor. There are about 44 sub-industries that we look at. And there are about 11 industries that we analyze in depth to understand what's going on at the industry and sub-industry level. And then finally, there are technical indicators. These are much more dynamic happenings in the market itself. These could be things like how many, what's the outstanding on call options, put options, ratio and pricing of put and call options. How is the demand, block trades, all those things that are creating the demand supply dynamic in the market working. When we take all of these building blocks, we get a library of signals. In our case, we may be looking at well over 100 of such factors by which we are trying to assess whether a particular stock will go up or down. Now, the next stage for putting this together is in this library that you have put together, you have to see how to combine them together. Now, this in itself is a big area of research. There are many, many ways of combining them. Simplest way is you give equal weight to all your factors. But that's not to be a very efficient method, because some factors work at some point and then they don't work. This is why we have to build the third leg of this building block is called a regime estimator, which means we have to understand what is happening right now. Is momentum working? Is value investing working? Is a given factor out of our library of 100 factors working well? That has to be estimated somehow. That can be estimated by looking at it, what types of environment does this kind of factor work? What kind of environment is it right now? What has been working recently? And when we put that together, we are able to estimate which factors are we going to give more importance right now. Now, that is also done purely systematically. There is no portfolio manager. I don't sit there and say, this month I'm going to give more weight to this, or anybody else who sits and give any weight to a given factor. It's done based on a system, a math equation, which has been derived out of our experience by looking at historical data. Combining these three things together, we get our portfolio that we say this is what we are going to invest in this ratio.